Thank you, thank you. So, has anybody here ever felt like they don't know where their career is going? Or possibly even had fear of speaking up in a room, in an open forum and sharing their thoughts? Or even envy the success of other people? Well, I'm Kirin Dillon. Oh, next click. It's the first time I'm using one of these. So I'm Kirin Dillon. I'm here to talk about my career and hopefully answer some of these questions for you from my personal experience. So I've spent the last 10 years working as a creative and content brand director for some of the most, I think that's my sky here, some of the most influential brands in the Middle East. My career is mostly from tech startups, one being Noon, which is the largest marketplace in the Middle East. I joined Noon before they had even launched, so it was a part of the founding leadership team. We transformed the iconic Dubai Mall into an online shopping experience, from splitting Dubai Mall, shopping Fashion Avenue, and also having their in-mall services and bookings app all in one. Namshi, so Namshi is the #1 fashion destination in the Middle East. I was actually headhunted by Namshi when I relocated to Dubai. And then 6 years later, funny enough, Noon acquired Namshi, and I went back there as a secondment to turn into a Gen Z brand. That's what everyone wants to do today. Noon Food. So Noon Food is a food delivery app, and within the first 8 months of launching, we were competing directly with Deliveroo. Noon in Minutes is currently, it's the only one, but I'm sure there's going to be more soon, a quick commerce app which delivers all your essentials in 15 minutes. So there's a lot more, but all the apps that I have worked on are the top 3 of amongst used in the Middle East. So that's where I am today, but I'm here mostly to speak about my early days, from where it all started, and the challenges and learnings that I came across that I hope will help you guys. But yeah, okay, but bear with me, I'm a little bit nervous as well, so. So I recently moved back to the UK permanently. I came across Brown Ink in May, met up with Rajiv, and honestly, what a great job you've done. So I think another round of applause for Rajiv. Like, it's amazing to build a community where we can all help each other and support each other. And you know, coming across that was awesome, coming back from the Middle East. But in our first meeting, he did put me on the spot. I don't think he even knew it. But throughout my career, I have been asked to talk at events and seminars and always declined, saying that it's not really for me, when in fact the truth was I was terrified. I was scared to speak, I was afraid of public speaking. So going back to my conversation with Rajiv, I was basically, when he told me, as much as I was full of gratitude, I think I actually said no right at the start. That was my first reaction. And I don't know if you noticed, but during that conversation, I had multiple silences where I wasn't speaking, because in my head, I was literally like, say yes, why are you saying no? This is your time to overcome your fear and build on your weaknesses. So here I am, I'm here, and who would have thought, 16 years in my career, it might even be 18, I think, in my career, I've never done any public speaking. But I'm so glad to be sharing that here with you guys today, so thank you so much for having me, and especially the fact you're here on a Saturday night. At least we're not missing an episode of Love Island. So it goes to show we all have our fears, and some of you may relate to mine, or some of you may have different fears, but nonetheless, it's never too late to overcome them. So one of my very first challenges was graduating. Halfway through my degree, I realized I'd done the wrong degree. So I did fashion design, when I should have done visual communications, graphics, or art. So the last year came and 60% of my marks went to garment making, which I did not enjoy doing. It was a high percentage of my marks. So what would be the solution? Would it be doing another degree or doing a master's? No, like I wanted to get the hell out of uni. So that was all pretty daunting. So what I did was research a bunch of degrees that I believe were design degrees that were more aligned with my ambitions in the future, and looked at their syllabuses. Spoke to a few friends to get some hype for the meeting that I put in with my lecturer the next morning. So I went in the next morning, I went in with a big ask. I asked them to change my syllabus. I told them my fear of coming out with a poor degree because of doing something that I don't even enjoy. I asked them to change my marks to 30% and switch the rest to branding, marketing, and a business plan. Now, to my surprise, they agreed. And I was pretty shocked. But they obviously went away and thought about it. They didn't just say yes on the spot. But again, I went with the argument, I went with the research, and I think that probably done the job, hopefully. I also realized If I never had that conversation, how different it could have been. And the fact is, they also wanted me to succeed, which you don't really think that when you're at uni and you're battling, you think, oh God, the world's against you. But we both had the same sort of mindset. So never feel like you're boxed in. 38% of students think they've picked the wrong degree. 78% of people think they would be happier in a different career. So that really does go to show. That day when I went in to my lecture, I went with the right conversation. I went with an argument to have and a conversation to be made. Now, I think maybe some of you guys could possibly relate to, like, let's say a pay rise. Like, who in this room wouldn't mind a pay rise? You can put your hand up. I'll put mine up. So, like, for example, if two people on my team came up to me and one came up saying, hey, I've been working really hard lately and I think I deserve a pay rise. Now, they're probably right. They probably do. But versus someone else who came up to me and said, hey, I want to talk about my future in the business, and came up with arguments of their self-growth with facts and how they contribute to the business goals. Now, that conversation already changes dramatically. And what I realize is you really have to do half the job for the person you're about to go and speak to if you want to be taken seriously. Now, so I graduated 2008, the year of the recession. So paid work was scarce. Let's just say everything was done for free. So all I did was interning and maybe some temp work if I was lucky. But with no disposable income, I had to take up weekend work in retail, so that was weekends and evenings. So my first 3 years after graduating, I was working 7 days a week, which was exhausting. So amongst all of that, I did that because I was waiting for the right opportunity. Working for just doing the interning and working for my future wasn't going to, and also having money was never going to happen 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So when the opportunity does come, when it does arise, and it will if you keep going, you will know when it's there. Mine was Condé Nast. So I received an email from Condé Nast saying that they needed a fashion stylist for Vogue India to start ASAP. Now, obviously my degree again, that's probably what got me there. I didn't want to be a fashion stylist, but I wanted to work for Condé Nast. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go, and I'm going to just hope that I get another opportunity out of this. So I took the role, and that's exactly what happened. I managed to get work for GQ, Tatler, Vogue, and World of Interiors. That was in their art departments and design. So again, all of this, and those years that went by, I think this might have been about 4 or 5 years at this point, it really demonstrated how much patience, resilience, and hustle you needed for this industry, because it's not an easy one. So if you just look at this slide, I've done this for like 30 seconds. It felt like an absolute mess. This was the first 6 years after I graduated. I don't know if some of you guys might feel like you're there now, or you might be going that way or maybe gone past it. But these 6 years were just full of nothing but uncertainty, zero direction. And all I was doing was waiting for the right opportunity to come. But the most important thing is just understand how flexible I was. And I didn't know I was being flexible at the time, because obviously you don't know what you're doing at the time. That's honestly how it feels. But yeah, but also know that 30% of this was unpaid work. Now that was probably my personal sacrifice. I'm sure you guys will make your own sacrifices. And amongst all of this was the expectations. Now, obviously coming from an Asian background, choosing a degree and a path and career in art and design wasn't very understood, not till today. Most of my older generation think I'm a fashion designer and ask me about shopping for Indian clothes, and I'm like, I could come with you, but like, that's not what I do. But I've stopped telling them now, so it's okay. Yeah, so choosing this career wasn't always, like, it wasn't understood, in fact. So my parents were actually very supportive, but one thing my dad said to me, and I feel like he almost felt guilt, he said, if you take this career path, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to help you find a job. And the reason why he said that is our community has a massive sense of support and help. So therefore, they asked friends and families, can you get Kirin a job, or can we da-da-da? And obviously, our friends and family were all from the cliche professional careers. No one 18 years ago had a career in design, like an established career. Somebody might have been doing something, but it wasn't very relatable. So you guys have so much opportunity now. I'm not saying it's any easier, because I think the hurdles are probably different. But the fact that you all showed up today to this event also shows how much dedication you have. So, I think you're on the right path. But stay focused and don't let the expectation get to you. Keep doing what you love because it does pay off. So if I go back to those questions at the start, have you ever felt like you don't know where your career is going? Fear of speaking up in an open forum and sharing your thoughts, or even envied other people's careers? Well, I had all of this and probably a lot more. So I really wish that 16 years ago, someone had told me a thing or two. So I'll probably go through my last points now. This one here, hard work. Oh, sorry, I should have changed that earlier. Hard work matters. Now, I was never the coolest person in the room. Obviously, in the creative and design industry, you're expected to be some sort of like, I don't know, cool diva or something. So I wasn't that. I was mostly reserved and quiet. It's taken me, obviously, till today to come and speak in a public forum. And, you know, the one thing I did have is I did work hard. At that time, I didn't know that that was something I was being noticed for. But when I realized it, obviously, I was told it much later in life, but what I realized is that was my niche, and that left a lasting impression on people. And you guys might have your own. I do think this is important, though. But I think, you know, you might have, like, you might be very good at motivation, or you might be very good at empathy in the work environments. Whatever it is, go 110% at it, 200% at it, because people recognize you, and they give it back to you 10 times more. What I realized was those that I reported to, and those then further down the line who reported to me, would always give me that same energy back. And honestly, it brings such great results in your work environment. Be comfortable with uncertainty. Just to kind of wrap this up, I was 27 to what you could say I got my first proper job, 27. So, you know, it really does go to show. I was flexible, you know, staying willing to compromise. Don't be afraid of new opportunity either. So you might get an opportunity where you're unsure about, or, you know, or it is what you want, so that's great. But take opportunity and find out more about it, because it will bring you success and it will bring you failure. But trust me, the failure is going to take you much further than the success, because it teaches you a hell of a lot more. So if anybody in this room has ever felt like they've ever failed or anything, like you are winning. Face your fears. So now, obviously, whatever it is that holds you back, face it straight on. Fears are there, everyone has them. They're there to overcome. So I'm doing something that I should have done many, many years ago. And I honestly believe, like, coming over these hurdles will massively help you in your personal growth. Challenge the status quo. So there's no such thing as a glass ceiling. It's only the ceiling that you allow to be there. There's always a solution out, whether it's a plan B, C, D, honestly, it could go on, left or right. It doesn't matter. There's always a way. Be creative, because your simple idea could change your entire life. So if you do want that pay rise, or start that new business, or take more responsibility at work, or apply for that job, just go ahead and do it. This is very cliche, right? There's never really any regrets in trying, but there's only ever going to be regret in not trying. Honestly, going years down the line, that's a real thing. You will regret things if you don't give it a go. So make sure you shoot your shot. Patience, resilience, and hustle. I think the biggest one at the start is patience, because I think trust the process, right? If I look at this point and I look back, and I connect all the dots of all these moments that I went through, it's only now till I realize how important those were, and they did not feel important at the time, trust me. That person that I helped, or that email that I sent, or that person I met at a networking event, or someone I helped in the office with, you know, some sort of work, everything left a lasting impression and helped me somewhere to my next step. And whether it's a small step or a big step, you just won't believe who the person is at what time that will help you. So make sure that's really important. I think I've lost my train of thought there. Okay, focus on self and not success of others. It's kind of similar to my first point. You've got to make every moment count to where you are today. So the environment that where you are, the job that you have today might not be what you want, but give it your all to where you are. Always have the North Star. So, you know, I want to be a creative director of Netflix. Absolutely have your ambition, right? But don't fixate or envy those that are already there, because they have had their journey too. You've got to think about leaving your impression and giving impact to where you are now, wherever it may be. This is exactly what's going to lead you to your success. So I guess what I'm saying, your future's in your hands. You guys are the most powerful thing in your future as well. And honestly, like anything, you can probably, everyone's able to do anything. So I think that's everything from me. So I don't know if I've missed anything, or if anybody wants to ask anything. Should we do questions later, or should we do questions? Okay, fine, so ignore that. But yeah, feel free to grab me and ask me any questions. Even if I missed something or didn't answer something that you were expecting to know, just ask me at the end. But yeah, no, that's everything. I don't know how many minutes that was. Thank you.